It is 7 o'clock, so let's call this November 14th Board of Supervisor Meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. Well, hey, before we go to the moment of silence, congratulations in order for Mr. Fetter in his election.
Thank you.
Yeah, 6 years.
You think?
We'll see.
Well, yeah, so congratulations. As we go into the moment of silence, maybe a prayer for Sean. Okay, moving on to citizen participation. This is for items that are on the agenda. Do we have any at this time? John?
Sure. Tonight on the agenda is the budget, and I had a couple of questions on it. Number one is about the general fund, and I was wondering what equipment is expected to be repaired next year? Yes. And I asked that because item 01-43745, I think it's that, is repair machinery and vehicle contracted services, is showing $30,000. So on your budget, that would be, that's on page 6, about right in the middle of the page, so. 01-437-450. Showing $30,000.
Do you recall what
Backhoes,
is the backup? And also, well, you
and
had the
maybe the
emissions
tractor
fixed.
till we get that.
Right, but that would be repair for it at like a shop, right?
Well, that would cover materials and sending out, right? There's not a separate line item for it.
There is a separate.
Well, yeah, there is
if-
one for repairing
if it's
machinery and vehicles
kind.
in-house.
If it's in kind.
Yeah.
And $30,000 is a lot, so that's why I'm wondering. Like, are we planning on something, or?
$30,000 is a lot, John. Had anything fixed at the shop lately?
Oh, I have, but it's not $30,000. I mean, normal cars, that's a car.
We just
So.
spent over $20,000 on that truck sitting out there.
Yeah, but this would be planned, right?
Well,
Or semi-emergency, but $30,000. So.
How do you plan?
Plan's pretty
Yeah.
loose.
Oh, I know, but $30,000 is a pretty decent amount. So anyway,
well, and that's
Was there a
that's-
plan?
That's based on history, because we just had the F-450, 550, I'm sorry, into the shop 3 times.
Oh, it's been in the shop more than that.
And so that was
We're just in the.
what was the
game.
engine, 18,000 total? So that was all
Yeah.
wrapped up
So
and done.
over 18,000.
So again,
Right.
we're not gonna spend $30,000, we're not gonna spend $1. We don't
We don't
have
have
to, it's
to.
just the
Right.
best estimate.
and that's why I'm wondering, like, if you're budgeting for it though, kind of anticipating needing it. So, but,
Based on past history.
And based
Okay.
on the age.
I mean, what did we do before this past year in repairing contracted services? Before this year, where things just happened to go haywire.
Well, they did.
Not a
They
whole
did.
lot
This is the first
before
time we
this.
replaced the truck engine, I think ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah, that's why I'm.
At least in my time.
Okay, so if that's, you're going on that, okay. My second thing is you're planning on replacing the culvert on New Valley Road this year, right? In terms of the budget?
In terms of the budget, yeah,
Right.
because we have to get something in
Right.
there, but that's
Yep.
not to say we're going
Right,
to do
it isn't guaranteeing it, but I was just wondering, on either side of that culvert though is guide rail. But your guide rail amount that you have in the budget this year is only $8,500.
Okay.
And that would not get anywhere near covering it, especially if it's designed properly. You know, actually covering what's needed out there. I mean, unless you're thinking of completely removing the guide rail and extending the pipe. So, I'm just,
That's to be determined. at
Yeah.
this
Okay.
point. Again,
so now we under budget and we over budget for other things. That's why I'm bringing it up.
John, I think you understand, that is the nature of the budget. I mean, you take your best estimate.
Right, but did anyone come up with an estimate for guide rail if we are doing? That's,
That's what the 8,500 is, John.
okay. And how much did we spend on Lamb's Gap when we did that section up there? That was almost 17,000?
A little bit longer too, wasn't it?
A little bit, but this should have impact attenuators, which are more costly. I know you may not know about that, but I design it, so
John, please
anyway.
keep it professional.
I am. I know you guys do not have a civil engineering degree or do that for an everyday job, that it would require that. I'd ask that you'd have your engineer look at what he'd actually have to put in there, rather than just a pipe.
What's your next question? John?
All right, for the last thing, the solid waste fund. So, in the past 3 years, according to the audits, we've had general fund transfers in the amounts of $16,935. In 2021, this was $3,399. In 2020, it was $1,200. In this year's audit, we don't have anything transferred from the general fund still. So, why did we not have that? I know we don't know the exact amount, but you know you do it. Why would we not have that in there?
I'm not following.
Say that again, John.
Okay.
You said the solid waste fund.
Yes, the solid waste fund.
Okay,
So, just like last year, I asked, what was the transfer from the general fund, and thinking maybe it was the reserves use. It wasn't reserve use. It was only to cover the employee expenses in there. And I'm saying that was 16,000 last year.
no, that's
No.
not correct.
What was it? Because that's exactly
It was
what the auditor said.
$15,000.
Oh, okay, 15, 16. According to the audit, it was 16.
From capital reserve, solid waste, CD, $15,000. If you look at our audit,
That's
you
not
will
what it
see the
said.
transfers that you just quoted, 16,000 and some odd
From general
dollars.
fund.
Okay, 15,000 of that, because you kept saying, well, we increased the fund balance. 15,000 of that was taken from a capital reserve CD through my estimate in December.
But-
Without that, and then when the auditors get hold of it, they look at the payroll, they look at the workers' comp, they make journal entries that only they give to me. When they did that, it put it over, instead of, having a deficit in the solid waste, which is what we wanted to do, we were over by $1,700. But if you really want to look at that, $1,700 came out of the capital reserve. So
But
that's.
why does our audit specifically say it's to cover employee expenses, the general fund share of employee expenses? That's literally what it says in the transfer
The
section.
transfer. They're not, I did talk to them about that. They are going to be more explicit. I can show you the journal entry from my software. And it's also the journal entry in capital reserve. You will see a transfer out to solid waste fund,
Then
$15,000.
Then why does our audit or our budget not specifically better call that out? I mean, if you,
I don't
our
know.
only two financial documents that we as the township see are then these check registers are
There's
that.
no way they can tell
So-
you every little detail that they do with all the entries. I did contact them and said, why isn't this being clarified so that people understand we are spending down our reserves? And they said, Craig Whitmer said, we will do a better job and detail that better for you next year. So this coming year, which will be in February.
But you are saying there is like 1,500 that you say was transferred over though last year?
15,000.
15,000 was transferred for covering employee expenses.
Not
Is that what you
employee
said?
employee expenses were, and the payroll taxes, employee expenses, and some other little things in there, workers' comp, a couple other little things that they tweak themselves. It was like, I'm gonna say like 1,800, 1,900.
Okay, and why don't we have that in the budget?
What do you mean, why don't?
Why don't we have that in this year's budget, that's what you expect to be transferred?
Sorry, John, $1,500, $1,900, is that what we're talking about?
Well, yeah, it's still an amount. There's a lot of smaller amounts than that in here, so.
So where
That's
do
why I'm
you
asking.
think that should be?
Well, I would think it'd be in the solid waste fund, in the transfer from general fund, wouldn't it? If that's where it would come from. According to the audit, it came from the general fund to cover those employee expenses, right?
Yes, because the solid waste fund has to pay some of that expense, and the general fund paid it, so that, paid more or something, the solid waste paid more, so they had.
Well, I
to
would think it
do-
would be from the state fund, the state gives us money for pensions and all this, I would think that would be part of it, right? It would go in distributing it out like a
Yes,
quarter of
that's
your
part
time
it.
or month.
That is part of it.
Right. So that
So
would come
they
from the
get a
general
small
fund going
portion
into
of
it.
that, and I let them put that in there because till they do the final calculations, I don't know exactly what that's going to be. So I just let them take care of it, and I've asked them, I said, is that okay? And they said, yes. It's very minuscule. But yes, $15,000 taken out last year. Because I sat here through those budget meetings and I thought, I know it was taken out. So I don't know what else to say except it wasn't detailed in the audit. I knew what it was, they knew what it was, no one else ever asked. So I told people it was taken out, so it's good. And if we detail that better, then people will know and you can follow it a little bit better. But it is in our books, it is on all of our journal ledgers, everything, it's there. That's how they found it. They come in, they put their flash drive in the computer and copy everything.
Thank you, Daisy.
You're
Very thorough and detailed.
I'll be looking for those, so yeah, okay. I'll be probably asking for those, because I want to see them, so.
I'm just curious, are you suggesting something is being
No, I just-
demanded by your
No,
question? I'm just puzzled.
I'm
by
only
that
asking
you're
because
concerned over that
it-
amount. I mean, I think Daisy did a wonderful job
Oh,
of detailing
I-
an explanation.
That is a good explanation, and I just would like to see the documents, because it doesn't go with what the audit says. And I agree, maybe the audit didn't contain that information.
If you look
but-
on that page, there's a page in there that will show you where you were quoting that the fund balance went up by maybe $2,000, something like that.
Yeah.
$1,700,
Yeah.
$1,800.
Yeah.
Okay, if you go up above there, it'll say transfers, and that's when you will see that it went over. Above the transfers, it's a deficit.
Right.
So it's
I
a
got that it's a
deficit.
deficit, but that's the way it looks. It's a transfer in to cover the employee expense. That's what it looks like.
No,
So
it's not.
it may not be that way,
They
and I
already
can't
paid
tell
that
that by what's in the audit, and that's why
They
I'm saying
already paid that
I'll
much.
ask for it.
Okay, what's your next question?
That's it before for what's on the agenda.
Okay, thank
Get
you.
more.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none, move on to approval of the minutes. So, first one was the October 19th budget workshop minutes. I don't have any comments or revisions to them. Anybody else? Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, I'll make a motion. Your second. Brad, you in favor?
I'm in favor.
Okay, minutes from the October 19th budget meeting are approved. That takes us to the October 24th budget meeting. Likewise, I didn't see any,
No, the 24th is a regular meeting.
I'm sorry,
That's okay.
supervisors meeting. Thank you. Just to be clear, October 24th supervisors meeting, I didn't see any changes myself in that, any adjustments. So likewise, I'll make a motion to second. Brad second, all in favor?
Aye.
Minutes from the October 24th supervisor meeting were approved. And that takes us to the October 26th budget workshop minutes. Anybody have comments?
No, I'm good. I'll make a motion to approve those.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Minutes from the October 26th budget workshop are approved. Moving on to monthly municipal reports. Zoning code enforcement. We do not have one. Max, as you indicated, Max hasn't gotten that to us yet, so we don't have
Plus,
one.
we're a little early.
Yeah, that, no, to be clear, that's nothing against Max, we're early. Sewage enforcement reports, we do have one from Lenny here. Total of $400, 3 items: chisel inspection, pressure inspection, repair permit, replacing tanks. I'll be up here if anyone wishes to take a look.
Do you want to approve the payment?
Oh, yes, make a motion to approve payment to,
of this?
FSA. Thank you.
I'll second.
All in favor? Payment is approved to FSA. Thank you for reminding me, Daisy. Road report, Brett.
Yep. I got down here, we finished mowing all the roads, but I like to do back roads yet. I don't know if we'll get that done or not. We set up for the election and the library, install street signs at Brook Lane, Orchard Drive, and Chestnut. We serviced the new backhoe and repaired the bucket pin on that. Installed the snow equipment on number 1, 2, and 3. Number 4 we've done yet. Busy going in the shop. Repair the older on number 3 dump shop and service number 1.
That problem child 550 is it 2011?
Do what?
Is that a 2011? That's right.
I didn't hear you.
Is that truck a 2011, that 550?
Yeah,
That
2011. Yep,
yeah.
yep, yep. Sorry.
Thanks, Brett.
Yep. Yeah, the other one was 13.
We have no rec board members here, so.
They didn't have a meeting, they canceled their meeting, so.
Okay, so no meeting, nothing to report. Emergency management report, we don't have our representatives here, so we don't have that. Daisy, financial treasurer's report, please.
Okay, the general fund checking account began with a balance October 1st of $211,278.35. Receipts of $31,252.86. Expenditures of $55,714.87. $255.18 in interest, leaving us a balance November 1st in the general checking of $187,071.52. The penny and general checking account had only interest activity and had a balance November 1st of $2,306.17. American Rescue Plan Funds money market account only has a minimal amount in it and had any interest activity. Had a balance November 1st of $2,870.46. The general savings account at the Bank of Landisburg, which is a money market account, had only interest activity and had a balance November 1st of $2,518.15. The liquid fuels checking account at New Penn Bank had a balance October 1st of $793.53. The deposit from the highway aid CD of $121,746.10. Had interest October 31st of $9.50. Expenditures to New Enterprise Stone and Lime, check number 742 for $121,746.10. Leaving us a balance November 1st in the New Penn Liquid Fuels checking of $803.03. Bank of Landisburg Liquid Fuels Savings Account had only interest activity and had a balance November 1st of $2,677.88.
Very good, thanks, Daisy. On to new business, so presentation of the 2024 budget, 20-day public review with tentative adoption at our next board meeting, which will be December 12th. So just overall, budgeting $961,325. Daisy, if you want to give any more detail as far as where it was advertised and Duncan Record?
Duncan Record, yes, was advertised in the Duncan Record for the 20-day public review. And it's tentative adoption in case there's changes between now and December 12th, although it must be adopted by December 31st. Do you want me to go down over this a little bit?
Take a minute.
Okay. The general fund, like Jim just said, was $961,325, and it is a balanced budget. The entire 2024 budget for all the funds proposed no rate or millage increases. The revenues for the general fund are mainly the taxes, and that being the real estate taxes and the earned income tax. real estate transfer tax decreased because mainly the housing market and the increase in the mortgage rates. But interest rates increased about 70%. That's only going to be for a limited time, I'm sure, but at least we're reaping the bounty right now. And also the ARPA funds are included in this general fund budget of $266,000. The expenses, the highest expense is the same, $961,325. The category that has the most, always has the most, which is public works and highways. It's up to about 49% of our budget is the public works and highways. And that's because of a major capital purchase with a tractor mower, projected at $172,000 from the quote that we received. I just want to note that that's going to be paid for by ARPA funds, and that is what is increasing our budget this year by like 43.5% compared to 2023. It's allowing for additional road paving also in 2024. And also, we're noting that the sale of the older tractor mower will enhance the revenue sources for us to offset the cost by $25,000. So that will take it down to like $147,000 instead of $172,000 if we get $25,000. That's a big if too. Just looking here if I have anything else. Also, because of the ARP monies, we are able to put back $50,000 in capital reserve. Normally, we've been putting back $10,000 to $15,000. We just haven't had the extra money to put back to think ahead beyond 24 into 25 and 26. The future road projects, and also to update the township comprehensive plan, which I'm not sure when we'll get to that, but
We'll get there.
we'll get there eventually, and the money is
And the
there,
money's
so we
there,
can
yeah.
put it there. But because of the ARPA monies, we're able to set aside these funds for future projects. The solid waste fund is balanced at $259,975. There are no rate increases, even though the contract increased. The revenue is only a small amount of interest, and mainly the collection charges, and will be balanced from the capital reserve CD at approximately $51,000. That is estimated. I go down through that after all of the expenses are paid in December for the year, and then I estimate it, which last year I thought I did really well, because I went down through it and tried to take my time, and if it wouldn't have been for what the auditors gave me, we would have been where we wanted to be, which was either a deficit or breaking even. The largest expense, of course, is the contract with Penn Waste at $212,160. It's 81.6% of our budget. And then we have the bulk cleanup and the recycling, and then the billing costs, which are about 3%. The bulk cleanup and recycling is 4.5%. So you can see that the administration of it is 9%. And it pretty much is a very simple fund. It's a proprietary fund, and it's not too hard to budget for. We're usually in line pretty good with that. The liquid fuels fund is always seems to have a deficit budget. The general fund will be supplementing $40,000. We will not be transferring in because Rick Levan said do not do that. It's harder on your audits. So he said just have two checks and have the general fund supplement that. And then I just keep double copies front and back for the auditors when they come in from the state and also when SEK comes in. But it's an increase of almost 20% of what we did this year, with the general fund supplementing about $40,000. And I think Jim was asking the roads that we were going to tentatively. I mean, of course, this is tentative, but we have to try to figure from the estimates that we got. We're looking at Stiles Drive, including the cul-de-sac, Reed Drive from Cherry Drive west to the dead end. I'm not sure which end of Cherry Drive, but I guess that will be determined. Hickory Road, the entire roadway to include the cul-de-sac. Oak Grove Road from State Route 850 to State Route 850, which is the entire road. Yams Gap Road, and this is a point to a point along with the base, the needed base repair, and I'm not sure how long that will be either. But, we're looking at those roads for next year.
Okay. Is your
I think it's
machine
going
up,
to,
does it
yeah,
need, do you need a minute to, battery in it?
if you want me to.
Yeah, sure, yeah. You need to.
Okay. All right. If you have something you wanna say, go ahead. I'm finished.
Yeah, depending what materials do, we may not be able to do a whole lot of landscape.
They don't,
And,
not the whole thing.
you're right.
Start another thing. No wonder I'm not a battery. And so many minutes. Okay.
All right, we're back in business, thank you, Daisy.
You're welcome, thanks for waiting.
Yep, hey, thanks.
What's it doing now? I'll keep an eye on it. Go ahead.
Okay, well, thanks for all your work on putting this together.
You're welcome. Okay, I see what it's doing. It doesn't like that folder. Okay.
Okay, so we don't need a motion for, that.
Would you think we need one to adopt it tentatively? And for the 20-day review? We
Yeah.
have done it in the past.
Yeah, I would just indicate, it's a
Tentative adoption.
tentative adoption, that it's gonna be reviewed by the public for 20 days, and then the final adoption is gonna be contemplated at
December
the
meeting.
December 12th.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make that motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, thanks again.
You're welcome.
Authorize advertisement of the independent auditor fiscal year 2023.
Even though we have a contract with our auditors, we're required by the second class code to advertise this every year. So I'd like to get that advertised. It has to be advertised 30 days before you appoint them.
Okay. Make a motion?
I'll make motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Advertisement is approved for the independent auditors, Miller's Gap Road Shale project.
I want to put some shale one more gap out there. Hopefully when it rains some, I don't want to put it on now when it's so dry.
I've never installed shale, so I don't know when it's wet or dry,
Yeah.
how it makes a difference.
It does.
Oh, I'm not doubting, I'm just.
Yeah.
saying.
So I want to try to wait it out a little bit to see, maybe it'll start raining here a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. How much you want put down?
Last year it was around 9,000, wasn't it? Around there, yeah. It don't go, don't go.
You can tell him, like if you only want 8,000.
Yeah,
then
you
just
can
tell
tell
the
him,
guy, just,
yeah.
what can you do for us for 8,000,
Right,
or whatever you
Yep,
decide.
yep. But we should take care of that though, because it's falling apart at the top.
Do you think 8,000, will 8,000 cover them? Or we-
Any idea how much shale is a ton?
I don't know that, no.
Okay.
It was, Yeah, 8,000 work, I mean, if we could get a 9, it would be right.
We
Okay,
can get it
fine.
on, we still
Yeah,
have
yeah.
that CD that's, to be pulled in December. And, since we didn't get the, which we'll be discussing, didn't get the funds yet, we might have to pay that bill. So I might have, I was thinking I didn't need to pull any money in for road projects, but because between the engine and then not getting the 10,000 for the repair on lands,
Right.
I might have to pull in some of that, and that would help cover it for the
Okay.
shale,
I got it.
is what I'm thinking.
Right, so 9,000 would be all right.
Okay,
Yeah.
make that motion to approve for a max of $9,000 for Shale
For Miller's Gap.
to repair Miller's Gap Road.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thanks, man.
Hopefully we get some rain.
I know.
It is
Lamb's Gap Insurance, Lamb's Gap Road Insurance claim out, is that,
That's,
Mike has the?
Yeah, I can go over that. So that's something that Daisy worked on to an extent, and then, so this, you know, as you know, there's the gentleman who had a truck and it caught on fire, you know, burned, and sort of melted a little section of the road there, and it was repaired, cost a little over $10,000. And then Daisy made contact with the insurance company for the driver of the vehicle, which is State Farm. And the odd thing about this is there's the driver who was driving the car who had insurance on it, but the car was owned by this car sales place on Trinity Road.
what's it called?
Credit Connection,
Yeah.
is that who it is?
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, there was some type of rent-to-own relationship between those two. So State Farm is coming back and saying, well, you know, the guy who was driving the car is not responsible because he got the car repaired the day before at the place where that owns it, Right Plus place.
Yeah.
The garage there also. And that they put on some type of solenoid, starter, and that was the cause. You know, the bottom line is, I think the bottom line is what to do is we file suit against both of them and just see if we can shake something loose. One of them is gonna be responsible for, you know, for it, whether it's some type of faulty repair that was done, or, you know, the owner of the car. I think we should bring the owner of the car in anyway. Now, supposedly, and Daisy indicated, there's some records in here, I saw that State Farm is sort of going after that Credit Plus place
Okay.
for some damage that was suffered by the driver of the car. So they're going after them for that. And, you know, I don't know what proof they have to say that whatever the repairs were the cause of, you know, what happened. But, I think, you know, there's two ways to approach this, and I could, you know, we could look at both of them. One is it's under $10,000, so we could bring it to the district justice, you know, pursue them both and probably just see how it sorts out at that point in time. Because, you know, there's definitely damage there, and Daisy has all the invoices and everything. They're just here saying, hey, we're, you know, our position is denied it because our guy, we don't think was the cause, it was the place that repaired it.
Can the township also recoup attorney fees for what we get into?
And
No, okay, just,
the only way, that would be good, the only way you can get attorney's fees is if they're contracted for, like in an agreement, or if there's a statute that says that if you're successful,
but likely if you send them something to say, hey, they're just going to say, okay, we'll pay it, I would guess.
they might, or we might have to go to a hearing, but either way, I think that would be you're certainly not gonna, you know, spend anywhere close to $10,000 in attorney's fees.
be next year till that.
Yeah, the way they would schedule it,
Mhm.
but still, otherwise it's just, you're
You're gonna lose it,
a
yeah.
claims adjuster saying that they're denying it.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, she shut the door
Okay.
quick.
Well then, so we need a motion to approve you pursuing.
Yeah, to
Driver.
authorize filing
Okay.
suit in the matter, yeah.
Okay, I make a motion to approve filing suit in that matter.
I'll say,
Brad, second? You're in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Yeah, come on now, this is,
Yeah, absolutely.
they should be able to
Thank you,
get
Mike.
their act together between the both of them,
So who, in a situation like that, who would State Farm pay, who would they issue a check to since the vehicle a loss? Is it the guy that was driving it? Is he the, and then he has to pay the,
Well, he
Yeah,
did
you
have,
think-
he's the one who had insurance with State Farm, because there was a police report here that said that he was the driver, but not the owner, and State Farm represented the driver. And she represented the driver. Now, the car was owned by a credit.
Credit connection, yeah.
Right, so, but he must have had some type of loss, either a loss of equity.
property,
Maybe it's something in the truck.
yeah.
Yeah, or maybe the equity that he paid, the date
Yeah.
that he was building up. But they are going after, they did pay him something and they're going after Credit Plus for that. What they paid.
okay. Well, thanks for tracking all that down, and you, David, also for.
Shouldn't have to be that, shouldn't have to be that
I know, I
hard.
said, oh,
Yeah.
All right. So announcements, November 23rd, 24th, and November 27th, the township will be closed for Thanksgiving gear season. There's no change in the trash collection schedule. December 5th at 7:30 p.m. right here is going to be the Planning Commission meeting. December 12th at 7 p.m. will be the next Board of Supervisor meeting right here. December 25th and January 1st, the township will be closed for Christmas and New Year's. Trash will be collected Wednesday, December 27th, and Wednesday, January 3rd. And January 2nd, day before trash collection, at 7 p.m. right here is going to be the organization meeting for the township. Okay, that takes us to approval and payment of the bill. Daisy, please.
General fund checks 17810 to 17829 in the amount of $15,761.23. There were no expense checks forwarded. Payroll checks 8275 to 8279 in the amount of $4,497.91. Payroll checks 8280 to 8284 in the amount of $4,198.36. There were no payroll checks forwarded.
We have a motion to approve payment of the bills.
I'll make a motion.
Brad makes a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Bills are approved to be paid. Thank you, Daisy. That takes us to the second citizen participation. Do you have any comments at this time?
Sure, I got a couple more. The New Valley Road culvert, I brought it up last meeting. Did you guys happen to get an estimate for this investigation that he's doing? How much he's looking at spending?
An estimate for the investigation or an investigation?
Well, the investigation
What did we
for,
get from-
We did get a bill, No, that's not it. How about the third time? There it is.
Thank you. Daisy? Yeah, so we did get an invoice from Max Max is our township engineer, for $259.89. Professional engineering services provided for the New Valley Road Culvert Cross Evaluation Project for the period ending 10/12/23.
It'll probably be a little more.
Yeah, discuss discussions with the surveyor Burgett and Associates. Discussion sent survey of, scope of survey work to Burgett. Surveyors discussions with Joe Burgett on survey requirements, forwarded schedule to Rye Township, discussions with Township Surveyor on culvert and overflow issues. So our next step is to have a workshop meeting, thank you for that, Daisy, with Max. And I imagine that'll be on site there. We haven't set that up yet.
Okay, but yeah, so that was like a month ago though. That seems like it's like an hour or two worth of work. Yeah, so, okay. So we got $259 so far. You didn't get an estimate of how much it'll cost though for this investigation? No?
No.
Okay. The Shale project on Miller's Gap Road, how much is $9,000 gonna get us? I'm just wondering. Like lengthwise of the road? Like last year you did about the same amount. What did that get us?
Well, that depends on the width of the road.
Right, well, it's, most of it's about the same though, isn't it? Like it's not like 28 feet, then 16 feet, it's all,
A rough idea.
How far did you get last?
I'd say we probably got, just estimating, 500 feet.
Okay.
okay. And what's the width about? Like is that 16 feet or, I didn't know. I don't travel Miller's Gap that often, so that's why I'm wondering.
It all depends because it varies on that road. Because it's so bad, some places they make the road wider.
Right, I got it. Where you did the work last year, if it's only 500 feet, that isn't that, I wouldn't imagine it's varying very much. So about what width was that at that location?
Probably 16.
16 probably. yeah.
16? I mean, I would think most of them are like 16 to 18, maybe
Probably,
20.
biggest part of it,
It's not like Reed Drive where it's 28 feet or 30 feet wide, so. Okay, and then the last one I have, last question for you, is I know last supervisor meeting at the end, the 3 supervisors and the solicitor for that meeting went back and had your little executive session at the end of the meeting. So I was wondering, you didn't bring it up at this meeting, you didn't bring it up at the budget meeting. What was that about?
Did we have an executive session for that? I don't recall.
No, that was Daryl. Was
Yeah,
there.
that was Daryl, but I don't recall that it met the definition of an executive session. I think it was just advisement because everything's not an executive session. Right?
Well, if it's 3 supervisors and a solicitor, I don't know.
No, I mean, an executive session would be a
Closed meeting.
When I wasn't there would have to be a deliberation, so sometimes the solicitor will meet with board members just to go over like an opinion or something like that. So as long as there's no deliberation, but I wasn't there.
Yeah, and as a recall, I
It
think
could
that's
be,
what you
there's
indicated
things
before.
that cases say are exempt, like information sessions, like if just
Mhm.
to bring somebody up to date. But I don't know, I wasn't there, so I'm sure.
So no background, no, it wasn't a meeting at all? That kind of idea?
No,
No meeting happened?
executive session.
Okay. Great, okay. Personnel matters. Okay, that's all I have then tonight, thanks.
Okay, thanks for your comments, John. Anyone else? Hearing none, I make a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everyone.